What if the walls around you didn't close you in, but set you free? Imagine a home where sunrise paints your ceilings, where rain taps like a lullaby on glass, and where every season unfolds right in your living room. This isn't a dream. This is the Glasshouse Barndominium, a place where the familiar strength of a barn meets the infinite openness of glass. It's more than architecture. It's an invitation. An invitation to step into a life where boundaries blur, where the line between indoors and outdoors fades until all that's left is openness. Barns have always carried a story of shelter, of warmth, of honest living. But when steel and glass wrap around that story, something remarkable happens. The walls don't just stand, they disappear. And in their place, light moves in. Morning light that spills across the floor, golden afternoons that stretch into twilight, and nights where the stars themselves lean close to watch. In a glasshouse barndominium, every moment feels alive. The soft glow of dawn doesn't just wake you, it embraces you. A passing storm isn't just weather. It becomes theater as raindrops chase each other down walls you no longer see as barriers. Even silence feels different here, carrying the hum of the earth outside, steady and grounding. And yet, it isn't only about beauty. To live in glass is to choose something deeper: vulnerability, openness, a willingness to let the world in. For some, it's a return to what life should be: connected, honest, unhidden. For others, it's a bold step into a future where design mirrors the human spirit, transparent, resilient, and free. The Glasshouse Barndominium isn't just a structure, it's a question. A question whispered every time the light shifts or the wind bends the trees outside. If your walls could vanish, would you let them? If your life could open wider, would you step through? Because maybe, just maybe, this isn't only a house. Maybe it's a reflection of who you are and who you're ready to become. Barns have always stood as symbols of warmth, tradition, and shelter. They've carried generations of stories, of families gathering, of seasons changing, of work and rest. But when you weave steel, glass, and modern design into that history, you get something breathtaking. A structure that feels both infinite and intimate. A home that erases the boundary between nature and living. This is the Glasshouse Barndominium. Not just a building, but an idea. A reimagining of what it means to live inside walls, when those very walls are made to dissolve. Here, space opens itself in ways you never expect. A framework of steel stands tall and steady, anchoring the design, while glass stretches wide, floor to ceiling, wall to wall, inviting the sky, the trees, and the horizon to become part of your everyday life. It's not simply about seeing the view. It's about becoming part of it. Living in a Glasshouse Barndominium is like living inside light. Morning doesn't just arrive, it floods in, soft and golden, filling every corner. As the day moves, so does the house, shifting in tone, glowing, dimming, reflecting the rhythm of the world outside. By evening, the fading sun paints the walls in warmth. Before nightfall lays a blanket of stars across the ceiling. There is a freedom here that goes beyond design. It's the freedom of waking up without barriers, of breathing in more than air, of feeling that every moment, every glance, is part of something larger. The world doesn't stay outside. It lives with you, side by side, woven into your daily rituals. The allure of glass isn't just in its clarity, but in its promise. It promises openness. It promises connection. It promises a way of living that feels both rooted in tradition and expanded by possibility. The Glasshouse Barndominium is where history and horizon meet, and it's only the beginning of the story. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button because it's a simple way to show your love for these incredible designs. Every hour tells a new story. The golden hour turns your living room into a cathedral of light. Midnight wraps your home in starlight. Even storms become theater, raindrops racing down glass walls as thunder echoes in the distance. Life inside a Glasshouse Barndominium isn't ordinary. It's a rhythm, a flow, a constant dialogue with the world outside. Mornings begin not with an alarm, but with sunlight spilling across the kitchen counters. The space feels alive as shadows stretch and soften, making even the first sip of coffee feel like part of a grand performance. And then, there are the quiet hours, the kind of stillness that invites you to pause. A reading nook tucked beside the trees becomes more than a corner of the house. It becomes a window into the forest itself, where turning a page feels almost in sync with the wind moving through the leaves. Evenings unfold in a different kind of magic. Friends gather under a glass ceiling, laughter mingling with the stars above. Conversations stretch late into the night, surrounded by a sky that feels impossibly close, as though the universe itself has taken a seat at the table. But as enchanting as it is, life here also raises questions. What does privacy mean when your walls are transparent? How do you feel sheltered when the seasons press so closely against the glass? What happens when summer sun blazes too hot, or winter's chill presses in? Designing for openness demands intention, choosing where the glass flows endlessly and where shadows offer comfort. It's a balance of transparency and retreat, of exposure and embrace. And perhaps that's the real secret of living in a glass house. It's not about perfection, it's about choice. About deciding how much of the world you let in and how much of yourself you're willing to share. Because here, every day asks the same question. When the walls disappear, how will you choose to live? For many, the glass house is more than design, it's a declaration. A refusal to live boxed in. A choice to let life in, unfiltered. We live in a world of walls, concrete, digital, invisible. So often, life feels enclosed, pressed into routines, surrounded by noise that never seems to stop. But here, in a home of glass and steel, those barriers begin to fall away. The walls are still there, but they breathe. They let in light. They let in horizon. They let in possibility. What draws people here is not just the beauty, but the openness. The sense that life doesn't have to be hidden or compressed. To stand in a glasshouse barndominium is to feel space expand, not just around you, but within you. It's an escape, not from responsibility, but from the weight of conventional living. A step into a way of life that feels raw, honest, and endlessly connected. Imagine a couple who leaves behind the pulse of the city, the endless horns, the crowded towers, the blur of neon and shadow. They trade that world for a place where the morning sky greets them with silence, where the horizon doesn't end at the edge of a window, and where evenings are filled not with traffic, but with the sound of crickets and wind. For them, the glass house isn't just a home. It's a way of starting over. A reminder that life can be simple, and in that simplicity, more profound. What people discover here is connection. Connection to land that stretches wide and untamed. Connection to the sky that shifts endlessly above. And perhaps most importantly, connection to themselves. Because living in glass is more than inhabiting space. It's embracing transparency, openness, and the courage to let the world see you as you are. And in that choice, many find something they didn't know they were missing. A sense of freedom that no traditional home could ever give. If you found this video inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support means to me, and it helps keep the design ideas coming your way. But beauty always comes with questions. Can a house made of glass still feel safe? Can it keep you warm when the world outside freezes? Can it shield you while also setting you free? The Glasshouse Barndominium is breathtaking, yes, but it also carries its mysteries. To live inside light is one thing. To feel protected by it is another. Winter arrives, and with it comes the doubt. Can walls of glass hold back the cold? Can summer's fire be softened when the sun pours down without restraint? These homes are not built by chance. They are crafted with intention, using layers of insulated glass, thoughtful shading, and smart design to balance openness with comfort. And then, there's the question of privacy. When your walls are transparent, do you ever feel hidden? Do you ever feel at home? The answer lies in how you design the dance between exposure and retreat. Some choose angled placements, where the glass opens to wide horizons instead of busy streets. Others weave curtains, screens, or even living walls of greenery into their space. The beauty of glass is not just in its clarity, but in the way it allows choice, when to let the world in and when to draw it gently back. And of course, there is cost. Glass, steel, and design at this scale are not small undertakings. Yet many find the investment worth more than a price tag. Because what you gain is not just a house, it's a philosophy, a way of life that values light, connection, and sustainability. Many glasshouse barndominiums now lean into energy efficiency, harnessing solar gain, blending modern technology with timeless simplicity. Still, the mystery remains. A home that seems fragile, yet stands strong. A design that looks exposed, yet feels protective. A place that seems extravagant, yet whispers of sustainability. The glass house holds a paradox, and perhaps that's why it captivates us so deeply. If you love this type of look, hit that subscribe button to help us create more videos. Perhaps the glasshouse barndominium is more than architecture. Perhaps it's a mirror, a reminder that life, like glass, becomes stronger when it's transparent. That openness is not weakness, but the greatest strength. Because when you strip away the barriers, when you let the world in, you also let yourself out. Living in glass is not just about design, it's about honesty, about allowing light to pour over every corner, even the hidden ones. It teaches you that beauty is not in perfection, but in the courage to be seen. A glass house is vulnerability turned into structure. It whispers that walls do not have to be shields. They can be invitations. To live here is to live authentically, to rise with the sun, to rest beneath the stars, and to let the changing seasons shape the rhythm of your days. And in that rhythm, something profound happens. You begin to see life itself as part of the architecture. It's not just about looking out and seeing the horizon. It's about realizing the horizon sees you too. And maybe that's the lesson this home carries. That in being open, in being transparent, we become part of something larger.